car. Green, 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 and a late green, but still a great jump. Alessandro Tullio going to try to come to the inside there on Ariel Elkin. Not quite enough. Elkin's going to hold the spot, get a better run on the outside of the corner. As you're to the inside there, you have to wait a bit to get back onto power. That's going to allow Garcia to have some room. Not close enough. Well, he was close, but not close enough to make the dive bomb move for Ariel Elkin. Setting it up, realizing the big run all the way down into turn 4 could be his best opportunity. Good drive out of that corner. Turn number 2, the keyhole for Max Garcia. Holds about 3 or 4 car lengths lead coming down through the kink. The fight's going to be further back. Yeah, indeed. There's drivers going on the defensive. There's a move there. Clark's going to go to the inside of DeTullio. He's on the outside coming up the top of the hill. That should be no contact there between DeTullio and Clark. Clark goes around. Or does he go? Yeah, he's off the racetrack. Clark's off the racetrack to the outsides. He came back across. Clark's going to roll back on track. We'll see whether or not there is damage to the exclusive Autosport machine. He had the side on DeTullio, and that's going to be right front to left rear contact. No yellow at this point as Clark able to get back onto the racetrack. Unsure whether there's suspension damage to the left rear of Clark. And I talked about the fact that he has had such good success. Only a couple of races where he has had issues. It's not going to be a podium here today in race number 1 for Clark. So contact on the opening lap. Clark had essentially taken the spot, was over the top of the hill, was trying to come back over to the track, and the contact made between he and DeTullio. Clark across us, John, here. You'll see him on the screen just coming through under the Honda bridge there. So Clark does continue. He will be hoping for a yellow flag to potentially get himself back up to the tail of the field now. But that's tough for a driver who is second place in points. He's the one that needed not to have the mistake or issue. He needed to have something happen with Garcia. A couple of drivers have gone off the racetrack coming out of turn number 2 onto the front straightaway, or the back straightaway, I guess it would be. Another easy place to drop a wheel. That looked like it could have been contact, but might have been just a driver dropping a wheel on the exit of the corner. There is a significant, probably about a 6 to 10 inch drop off on the outside of the curbing on the exit of turn number 2, John.
Yeah, you can usually see the dust kicked up when they drop a wheel off, and that usually if the driver can keep the car off to driver's left and keep it in the grass, then they can re-enter more gracefully, but sometimes you just can't do that.
We'll do what we can here right now to give you a full field run as they come back through. Max Garcia fully taking advantage of the action that happened behind him between Elkin, DeTullio, and Clark. Max Taylor's taking advantage of that as well. He's up into the 3rd spot. 4th goes DeTullio. 5th is Jacob Douglas. 6th, Nicholas Montiero. 7th, Michael Costello. 8th, Joey Brienza. 9th is Frankie Mossman. 10th is Cooper Becklin. Becklin started up in 5th but fell back to 10th on the opening circuit. Matt Clark already pushing hard. In fact, just turned the fast lap of the race. He's the fastest driver on the racetrack. Clark probably driving with a little bit of anger.
A little bit of mist,
yes.
Yeah.
Pushing hard, trying to get himself back in. He'll need that yellow flag, as we said, to get himself back closer. His teammate Carson Eder, who started 12th, has fallen back as well to the 17th spot. Not sure what happened there to Carson. We got more racing further back. That the drivers are battling right now for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. No doubt about that. Taylor tried the outside of 5. That's not going to work. DeTullio actually able to get by Clark. So he goes back around again. DeTullio, who was P4, goes around Clark, or rather Taylor. Taylor tries to go to the outside in turn 5, not quite enough. And that's also allowed Jacob Douglas in the number 19 to close back up here from P5. They're battling there, and there's Douglas right on top of him. And Nicolas Montiero, the Brazilian, starting to getting close to a potential battle for P3. That's the battle for the final spot on the podium, because as you can see, we don't even see Max Garcia. This is what's happened with Max in a bunch of these races here. He's been able to get out front early and just pull away as the rest of the field battles behind him. That is not a way to try to get yourself back up into a championship fight.
Yeah, that's exactly what a champion does, is try to stay clear of the trouble as much as possible. And Max Garcia has set some very fast laps here, 2 personal bests, one right after the other, and has opened up a big lead, almost 4 seconds after just 4 laps. Actually, only 3 at speed. So.
And listen, this is all lining up for him to potentially clinch the championship 1 weekend early. There's a possibility he could get the championship done in Toronto, especially with more contact there. A couple of drivers off coming out at turn number 2. One potentially in the wall. Clark's going to go around as well. That might have been the fight with Golan. Just trying to think of who was in the fight there. Durst, Golan, Adams potentially. Yeah, looks like there's a driver. That's a 10 of George Garcia involved as well. He may be off the racetrack and into the wall. looked to me like he went all the way off the racetrack. We'll see if we get an update here. Yeah, the number 10 is off as number of drivers went off in turn number 2.
It's not been a great weekend for George.
It is not at all. You were right, John. Did not get an issue or get a couple laps in qualifying. Had an issue on the opening circuit. Indeed, full course yellow, much to the prayers of Matt Clark. And indeed, Elkin, DeTulio, and Taylor as well, because a 4-second lead after 3 laps. Wow. Garcia is going to see that disappear with a couple of yellows at start-finish. Garcia, Elkin, DeTulio, Taylor, Douglas top 5, Monteiro 6th, Costello 7th, Brienza 8th, Mossman in 9th, 10th is Cooper Becklin. Logan Adams, the other driver involved as well. Logan coming into pit lane here right now, right in front of us.
We saw Garcia. It looks like the car was able to continue. So,
yeah, they're just going to have a quick look on the car here.
Shake all 4 corners, make
That's
sure the
it.
suspension's good.
That's it. You'll see them reach over and actually grab that suspension, see if anything's loose. Brad Brewer having a look at that. Good call for him to come in quickly, and he's back at it. So both drivers who had contact there in turn number 2, the exit of 2, John, I want to say both of them are off the racetrack. This has allowed both Carson Eder and Matt Clark to slip through a couple of spots, plus they get that restart. So both Eder and Clark, 2 of the 3 exclusive Autosport drivers, having trouble on the opening circuits. Clark, as we know, the contact between he and Alessandro DeTulio at the top of the hill coming to turn number 5 on that opening circuit. DeTulio still holds strong in the 3rd spot. So here they come through here under the yellow. And again, no cleanup really for the AMR IndyCar safety team unless some gravel was brought back onto the racetrack. Indeed, exactly that. So they're going to have a track inspection, the team heading over to see the gravel and debris that's been brought out onto the racetrack when both those cars came back on track, John. But otherwise, we'll probably be able to get back here, maybe a lap under yellow, maybe 2.
And remember, these USF Pro 2000 races are 20 laps long, or 30 laps long,
yeah,
rather than the 20 laps from the other 2 series. So they've got a little more time to sort this out.
There comes Garcia in the pit lane. It looks to me like a flat left front tire. They're pulling some rubber down. So I think a flat left front for George Garcia. Again, it has been a tough weekend for the Mexican driver. Not at all what he would have wanted out of Guadalajara, Mexico, and he's been good on the season. He's had some great runs, some strong finishes. Just coming off a 7th place finish at Road America as well. So tough to see that for him, trying to maintain that momentum from our trip to Wisconsin.
Taking a hard look at the right rear, I think there may be some suspension damage there as well, as they're having a close look and don't seem to be in a huge hurry to get the car back out. They're going to put the jacks under the front of the car and attend to that right front that they appear to be wanting to repair, but they spent a lot of time looking at that right rear corner.
John, you have to wonder whether or not he may have made contact with the wall, went off and kind of flat side of the wall a little bit, because they looked like the side wall of the tire was scuffed up a little bit, so he may have got up against the wall when he went off track.
Right.
All right, well, again, like we said, some excitement for the start of this one, no doubt about that. Garcia, Elkin, DeTulio, Taylor, and Douglas are the top 5. Matt Clark and Alessandro DeTulio contact at the top of the hill in turn number 5. Clark had that advantageous position coming around the outside where you would need to be to beat them down into turn 6. But there was contact from DeTulio's right front to Clark's left rear. Being told from race control that the contact between Garcia and Adams is under review right now. So good to know that the race control taking advantage of the multitude of cameras that they have to be able to do reviews on here. That's one of the things. It's not a place you normally get a chance to get to because it's kind of it's a secret place. This is, put it that way, race control. But man, when you do get a chance to go in there, John, I know you probably visited before many times. The amount of cameras that they have to work through, all the people that they have in race control, it's amazing to me that they're able to do everything they do and be able to still get an opportunity to review, because there are multiple race directors on staff here with the USF Pro Championships this weekend.
Exactly. And they're one floor below us here in the tower, and we get to walk by their suite, if you will, on the way up to our announce position. And yeah, it's full of cameras, full of the screens, and they've got lots of eyes on this one as we're getting ready to come to the restart here. Indeed, back at it once again. This will be lap number 7, so still 23 to go as the extended 30-lap distance for the drivers in USF Pro 2000, getting them ready to go those longer distances as they will in the Indy Next Series.
Good start here for Garcia on the throttle very early. A little bit further back. Good jump as well for Jacob Douglas. Look at him making that move to the inside, thinking about the bottom of the racetrack on Max Taylor, but didn't quite have enough. Did tuck to the inside, but probably thought better of it and tucked back in. So a good move for him to get his way through there. Big run up into the keyhole now. Let's see whether or not Ariel Elkin can make something happen here. It's been a big weekend so far, as we know, for Max Garcia, putting the car on the pole. Another bonus point, trying to pull away and lock this championship down. Man, he is so good out of the gate here. And again, that first run, really attacking up the hill into the keyhole to get the jump that he gets to come out. Look how much gap he's already got. Taylor making the move to the inside of DeTulio, those two drivers, and he's to the inside, book it. Able to do the slider all the way through to the inside. More contact further back. That is another one of the turn 3 cars who's made contact in turn number 4 and 5, between 4 and 5. So whether or not that driver is able to continue, that sounds like it's the 33 machine of Tyke Durst involved between turn 4 and 5. Yeah, he's able to bring it back around. There's a shot there, back on the throttle, away he goes. So Durst is back underway. The yellows will stay in. We will stay clean and green here to complete lap number 8. And Garcia, the magic man, out of the gate, the lead already as they come across the line to put lap 8 in almost a full second. 9/10 on the opening circuit over Ariel Elkin. Taylor 3rd, DeTulio 4th, Monteiro 5th. Matt Clark and Carson Eder 13th and 14th now. I thought that Clark had gotten by Eder, but no, he's right there with him now. Those drivers trying to push their way forward here.
Max Taylor all over the back of Ariel Elkin too in the run up to the keyhole, looking for that second spot.
Yeah, this is it, right? These guys are thinking about trying to get themselves back where they need to be in terms of being able to challenge for the championship. It doesn't take much, we said, to have a couple of DNFs. Think about going to Toronto, and let's say Max had a couple issues and gets a couple of DNFs. That's a 66-point swing somebody could take on him, so it's never over, right? But Max, just like I said, doesn't make those kind of mistakes. And listen, when you give him a lead like this and you give him a restart, masterful coming out of the final corner here, turn 13, and rolling it down into 1. To get a full second on the opening circuit over a driver like Ariel Elkin, who we know is uber talented, 3 wins on the season already. That's just fantastic, especially, John, under the pressure of potentially being able to clinch a championship. That is a mark of a champion for sure.
Exactly, yeah. I'm so impressed with what I see from Max Garcia here. I mean, he is just drawn away from this very evenly matched field behind him. Look at this, everybody's equally spaced, running about the same pace, except Garcia. He's just alone, all by himself.
4 teams in the top 4 as well. Pabst Racing, TJ Speed, VRD, and Turn 3 all represented within the top 4. Top 5, you add another Turn 3 driver as Alessandro DeTulio and Nicholas Monteiro run 4th and 5th. Jacob Douglas and Michael Costello put a couple of Pabst Racing drivers 6th and 7th. Frankie Mossman able to get by Joey Brienza. Mossman up into 8th, Brienza 9th, and Cooper Becklin currently running in that 10th spot. Brienza trying to keep a run going. He's had a bunch of top 10 finishes over the last couple of races. Would like to get another one here and maybe come away with a nice strong weekend. Joey Brienza 10th place in points and just 11 behind Cooper Becklin right now. So that's kind of a driver who's right behind him trying to potentially fight his way up to P9.
And Matt Clark is gradually working his way forward. He's up to 13th. He got around Carson Eder on the last lap, and now he's all over Brady Golan trying to get up into the top 12. Again, recovering as many points as he can after that problem on the first lap.
Yeah, John, even with the overtake on Eder, he was about 7/10 quicker than Golan on that last lap, and he was only back by 2/10 across the line. So expect them. In fact, he's got a couple drivers. I think he's got Cooper Becklin there as well. Manson may have been able to slip by Cooper Becklin. So we'll see as they come by. Here they are at a turn number 13 once again. You'll pick up the car, the white and red Corpay machine, the Clubine Motorsport exclusive Autosport machine there for Matt Clark, right behind Golan, 0.3 of a second. This time Clark about a 10th off as he's in that aero wash now. Got to really play it correctly here to move forward. Starting up front is obviously, it makes it a little easier. The competition is tougher, but you can kind of gauge yourself, I think, a little better some of the times knowing those drivers you're racing with. If you have an issue and you end up going to the back, drivers you don't normally race with week in and week out, we know Matt Clark is a top 5 driver in every race. You're back there having to kind of figure out how some of these guys race. What are their tendencies? You get surprised every once in a while. Look at them. They're essentially almost 3 wide coming down into the corner there. That's Manson at it. We have a driver slowing coming down the straightaway to move over. Not quite sure. That might have been Mossman, actually, I believe, looking at the roll hoop. One driver slowing, coming down the straightaway into turn number 4 and allowing the rest of the field to go by. We'll see as they come back in. But look at this battle here. This is Clark looking to the inside there on, I believe, Golan. Chopped the nose a little bit. He's going to get challenged from behind from Logan Adams as well now as they come out of the hill. Adams is right there. Clark on the inside of 11. This is going to get exciting coming up through there. Yeah, Carson Etter's right there to try to get around Logan Adams too. Logan, who got back on the racetrack after the contact between he and Garcia Arce, was right there trying to get by.
So Clark got around Logan Adams and Brady Golan.
And it was Manson as well. Yeah, indeed, He did get by Cooper Becklin. So Manson's up to 9th, Becklin now into 10th. Mossman indeed in the 84. We're going to see him down pit lane here right now, John. So the VRD 84 machine going to bring it to the attention of his VRD crew on pit lane. That moves Brienza to 8th, Manson to 9th, Becklin up to 10th, Golan in 11th, Clark now goes up to 12th, Logan Adams 13th, Carson Etter 14th, and Nick Jilks will be the final driver on the lead lap when they come back around. Unless they get Mossman back out here. They're having a look at the car.
Yeah, they're trying to, sounds like he's having trouble getting in gear. Finally able to get away.
So he will stay on the lead lap. He still has 11, as does Tyke Durst. He was able to continue as well. But man, Garcia 2.5 seconds on the last lap as he comes and rockets his way out of Thunder Valley. See everybody dropping here into turn number 9, down into Thunder Valley. Matt Clark trying to see if he continues this move forward after the contact between he and DeTulio on the opening circuit in turn number 5. Everybody now settling into the low 18s. The only driver into the 117s right now, not surprisingly, your leader, Max Garcia, 117.814. Now with a 2.7 second lead. Everybody else, Elkin with an 18 flat, Taylor and DeTulio 18.2s, 18.3s for Montiero and Douglas. They go further back to an 18.4 for Clark, 18.5 for Golan. So we may still see that fight for the final spots in the top 10. It's just tough around here. John, we talked about it in the USF Juniors category, a little bit about the aero wash these drivers deal with. Of course, the Juniors car have the same wing package as USF 2000, so those two categories have the same aero wash, the aero dependency. It's even more though here. Dual plane wings on the front and the rear for the drivers in USF Pro. So a track like this that has a lot of these long duration corners, that's when you really have to kind of tuck a little wider to see if you could potentially get a little more air over that wing. It's tough at this racetrack.
Yeah, and the big diffuser on the bottom of these cars under the rear wing, which generates a lot of the downforce, accelerates the air on the underbody, also really disturbs the air for the car following. So, the rule of thumb is the more downforce the car generates, the more the aero wash has a problem for the following car.
100% true. And if it's a track with a lot longer straightaway, maybe you can come out on top because you get the big run down into a braking zone. But this track here, a rhythm track like Mid-Ohio through the keyhole where it's a long duration, you're really on the throttle, you're using that front wing as much as you can to keep that car pinned down to the bottom of the racetrack, down to the apex. You lose that. And that's why drivers, you'll see them drop wheels coming out of turn number 2 because they've had so much wheel in it and just kind of drifts off. Exit understeer over to the outside of the exit curbing. Fast lap now belongs to Ariel Elkin. He'll need that right now because coming into this event, he is significantly behind, as we know. 73 points behind coming into the event here. 72 for Matt Clark. He's going to lose a bunch here as well. Matt currently running in the 12th spot. So again, this is continuing to shape up like Max Garcia is going to try to go back-to-back championships. He has the USF Pro Championship scholarship livery on the car, having won the USF 2000 title with Pabst Racing last year. Now looking for another win. And it was interesting. He won in the opening weekend at St. Petersburg, second in the opening round, and then backed it up with a race win in race number 2. Won the back end of a triple header at NOLA, but in all those races, the first 5 races, he was either first or second. So it really got the points stacked up early. Fourth, third, and fourth in Indianapolis. So he went on a little streak where he didn't win. That was Indianapolis and Lucas Oil Raceway Park, or Indianapolis Raceway Park now. But then he won the first 2 races of the triple header at Road America, was fourth in race number 3. Every race so far in the top 5, and this would be race win number 5. Still a long way to go, though. Let's bring that back in. This isn't a 20-lapper. This is a 30-lap contest. We are just coming to the halfway point now. A couple of good fights further back there. Look at that scrap there. 3 drivers dicing it out. That is right behind Tulio. I believe that's, I think Douglas has got by Monteiro. Yeah, put Jacob Douglas up into 5th. Monteiro 6th, and his Douglas's teammate Michael Costello right there in 7th. So it's essentially a Pabst Racing sandwich right now for a time. No, there he is through. Costello's through as well. So Monteiro's going to go from 5th to 7th on 1 lap as Jacob Douglas got by, as did Michael Costello. So Pabst Racing currently running 1, 5, and 6. Matt Clark has not been able to get by Brady Golan. Brady turning some decent lap times. Again, as I said, at 18.3. He's quicker than Monteiro, was quicker than Brienza, so the pace is there. Last time by, actually, Matt Clark. Where is Matt Clark? He has fallen down the order on live timing. Just getting across the line. I'm not sure what happened for Mac there, but he has fallen all the way back into the 15th spot. I did not see what happened to Matt Clark, but back to P15. He'd worked his way up into 12th, down into 15th now. That is rough. So indeed, Garcia's lead 3.4 seconds, and the driver right behind, well, not right behind him, but second place in the point standings, the championship fight, now down into 15th spot, Matt Clark. And that's really been, if you look at his championship here, he's 4th and 2nd at St. Petersburg, 3rd in the opening round on the podium at NOLA, but then 17th and 18th in those next 2 races. At IMS, a couple of second place finishes, 5th in the 3rd race, on the podium 3rd at Indianapolis Raceway Park in the Freedom 90, and then went 2nd, 3rd, 2nd for his 4th consecutive podium at Road America. Not happening here this weekend. Has been a rough one for Matt Clark, who stays up on the throttle. He'll need another yellow to potentially get himself back up a couple of spots, as Adams goes to 12th, Eder to 13th, Jilks up to 14th.
Yeah, Jacob Douglas is the one who seems to be having some trouble as he's going the wrong direction, falling off that battle up at the front.
Here's Nick Jilks into pit lane, making his debut weekend here. Driver with Euro 3 and GB3 experience, the Canadian driver, former Ontario Formula Ford champion, into pit lane, watching the team go to work now, putting some tires on the front of that machine. I wonder whether or not they're thinking about putting tires on here, maybe better tires, to see if he can go out and turn a faster lap to potentially work his way up the order. Because as we said, for race number 2, you use your fastest lap. Your fastest lap for the qualifying is race 1. Your second fastest lap in qualifying is race 2. But if you go faster in race 1, you can use that lap instead of your second fastest qualifying lap. This looks to me like they potentially want to put some fresh rubber on, let him go out here with a car that has lower fuel. He's learned the track a little bit more, and maybe go out and bang out a better lap time. Because again, he had a 1:18.3 in qualifying. He was off by over a second even from second place. So if he gets himself, if he can go a high 17, he may be able to jump himself up into the top 12 or top 13 in terms of time. So Nick Jilks in the pit lane. The team, the Jay Howard crew, is putting rubber on, and we'll see him come back on track. That does move Matt Clark back up into 14th position, but he is 2 seconds behind his teammate Carson Eder, but was faster than that last lap by significant amount.
Yeah, right behind him too, so he'll make that pass this lap for sure.
Well, indeed, look at the time too. At 1:17, where is he? 1:17.9. That would have put him more around the 7th place in terms of pace. Tyke Durst did a pretty good lap time there as well, 1:17.7. So he's back up on the throttle too. So indeed, 17 laps down, 13 to go. Still more racing in the USF Pro Championships coming here today. We'll start off with our autograph sessions. As soon as we're wrapped up here, 1:30 scheduled start time for our autograph session. We're set up right outside the gift shop in the middle part of the paddock, the middle level. So come and join our USF Juniors drivers at 1:30. The USF 2000 drivers will be there at 2 o'clock. And the drivers on the racetrack right now, USF Pro 2000, will be there at 2:30. And then we are back on track later on this afternoon, 4:20 for the drivers in USF 2000. Our pro drivers here will wrap up their doubleheader this afternoon as well at 5:15. So lots of racing still to come. 2 more events here for USF 2000 and USF Pro 2000. Juniors wrapped up their doubleheader earlier today already. Almost a full 4 seconds now for Max Garcia out in front of Ariel Elkin. Taylor in 3rd, DeTulio 4th. 5th is Douglas, 6th Costello, 7th Monteiro, 8th Brienza, 9th Manson, 10th is Becklin. Golan is 11th, Logan Adams is 12th. Matt Clark able to get by Carson Eder again, so he's up into the 13th spot, a 1:17.7. He was a half a second faster than Logan Adams on the last lap and 1.8 back. So look for probably about 5 or 6 laps here for Clark to potentially reel in Logan Adams.
And we're just past half distance. I
Yeah.
mean, we've still got 12 laps to go here, so there's plenty of time for him to work his way forward. And by the way, I misidentified Logan Adams. I thought I saw Jacob Douglas's car, and I thought they're teammates, obviously. And Adams was one who was dropping back, and he's in danger of being overhauled by Matt Clark, just as you said.
Adams turning a 1:18.3 last time, by a little bit quicker than Brady Golan. So although he's 4 seconds back, he needs to be a lot quicker to be able to catch up there. These guys, again, anybody at the back, if they want to find some more spots, they're going to definitely have to get some type of yellow flag. Essentially, the front drivers, front 5 or 6 or 7, are all significantly gapped. Garcia's got over 4 seconds on Elkin. Elkin's got 2 seconds on Taylor. Taylor almost 2 seconds on DeTulio. Douglas is only 0.6 of a second back on DeTulio, but Costello's another 1.2 back. There's not really any tight racing here right now. A couple drivers are decently close, a half a second, but for the most part, this field has spread out over the second half. When Max Garcia gets back around, it will be 20 laps in, 10 laps to go. He has the fast lap of the race as well. So he's, again, looking for the full 33 points. He qualified on the pole. He's already led the most laps. And with the fastest lap of the race and 30 points for winning, that would be 33 more points. This thing looking more and more like it's leaning towards back-to-back championships for Max Garcia. I don't want to call it at all until we get to Toronto and knowing that he can potentially cruise to the end, but adding another 33 points on here would be absolutely massive for him. And Pabst Racing looking very good in the team championship as well. They're 132 points up on Turn 3 Motorsports, who won the title last year. Man, they are looking very good right now. Pabst currently running 1st and 5th and 6th. So stacking up the points for sure. Lap 19 was the best for DeTulio in terms of time-wise. Brienza as well. He's 1.8 behind Monteiro. I wonder whether or not Joey Brienza has anything for Monteiro coming across the line. Both he and Brienza turning their fastest laps. Yeah, Monteiro stepping it up. Got a couple tenths of a second there.
The best battle on the racetrack is actually right behind them. Sebastian Manson, who's Ariel Elkin's teammate, has got Cooper Becklin and Brady Golan all within about a second, those 3. So that's probably the closest battle on the racetrack.
That's it right there in front of you, coming down through the carousel. I mean, the keyhole, rather. Sebastian Manson trying to make sure that TJ Speed has a couple drivers in the top 10. Elkin running strongly in second spot as he runs on the racetrack, would retake second place in the points. Matt Clark doing whatever he can to get himself back up here now. Remember, behind him is DeTulio and Taylor as well. But Clark had about 44 points on Taylor. So at the very worst, Clark could fall down to 4th place in points with this tough finish here after the contact up in turn number 5.
And he's pretty much caught Logan Adams, so he's going to try to move up at least one more spot up into the top 12.
Frankie Mossman back into pit lane again. Whatever the woes are for that machine of Frankie Mossman, he is back into pit lane again.
Still on the lead lap, but he's the last car on the lead lap right now.
I'm watching Douglas too. He was 0.6 of a second back. He's slowly closing on DeTulio, but again, as you close 6 seconds, 0.6, 0.5, 4, then you start feeling that aero wash again, and like, I'm closing on him. Well, hold on. All of a sudden, the car starts going away on you a bit. So Matt Clark, probably the driver on the move right now. He's been closing up as much as he can on Logan Adams, but again, got to the point where he was within that second, and then you're just going to start to deal with that aero wash a little bit. Clark was down to a 1:17.6, but lost about a half a second once he got to within a second of Logan Adams. Again, this is all about training these young drivers and what they're going to deal with, because aero wash is even more pronounced when you get into the Indy Next category. A lot more downforce on those race cars than we have here on the USF Pro 2000, so they need to understand, number one, when they go to from 2000 to Pro, you got to be stronger. The downforce, not only does it make the car stick and make it point, it also makes the wheel even heavier as you're, of course, turning into all that downforce that you're getting from the wing package. So the minute you make the step up to Indy Next with more downforce, more power, more tires, you got to be even in better shape. And again, we stress this to the drivers all the time. You think you're in shape, but you're not. You need to be in better shape. Even the best guy in the paddock could be better making the move up to the Indy Next Series.
And a track like this on a day like this
Yeah.
will definitely show that. All the drivers, IndyCar drivers alone will say this is one of the, if not the most physical track that they race on, just because of the constant work that you're having to do, the G-loads that the drivers have to deal with on the high-speed turns, and these drivers are going to be tired when this one's over.
Yeah, I agree. And again, they're going to run again this afternoon, right? They have to, to reboot, rehydrate, get back at it. It is 85 degrees here at the track, and I'll tell you, I was walking back to the paddock after that first race. It is warm outside right now, and I understand everybody around the racetrack. You probably got a little bit of shade going on. You probably got a cool liquid beverage to kind of help you out a bit as well. So these drivers, if they have the water bottle, it's already getting warm, and it's probably already gone, and so indeed they'll push their way through to the end. Hydration for these drivers starts a week in advance, as you know. You got to get the hydration started early. You can't do it on a race weekend. Garcia with 8 laps to go, folks, and he is out to almost a 5-second lead. Max Garcia, who completed every lap of competition in USF 2000 last year, has followed suit. He extended that streak here into 2025. He has not finished outside the top 4. 4 wins already. Amazing stuff. 5 poles. Make it 6 poles now. 8 podium finishes. This would be 9. I'm telling you. Again, listen, these are the stats, John, that you're putting up, that you're able to put it on a piece of paper. Take it over to one of the team owners here when you're at IndyCar. This is what I'm doing. I'm consistent.
Yep.
I bring the car home. Every race last year, I drove the car back to the trailer. Ooh, I like that. This year in USF Pro, I'm either on the podium or driving it back to the trailer. It's perfect. Like, they want that consistency. They want you to make sure you take care of your equipment.
Yep.
And Max Garcia being out front makes it a little easier. Let's put it that way. There's not so many wheel-to-wheel incidents when you're 5.5 seconds up the road on everybody else on the racetrack.
And he's so far ahead now that he's got traffic to contend with the car. Several drivers that have had problems here. He's already working his way through some of the slower cars. So he's so far the only driver that in traffic to contend with.
That was Frankie Mossman, who came in and back out onto the racetrack, able to slip by him. Closing up on Nick Jilks. He's been into pit lane, as we know, putting those tires on. Nick's trying to get some fast laps down deep. Remember I talked about the fact that Nick's fastest time was a 1:18.3 in qualifying? He just laid down a 1:17.8. So there's a team, knowing that their driver didn't know a lot about the racetrack in this car, didn't qualify particularly well. His fastest time, as I said, a 1:18.318 was his qualifying time. His second fastest obviously is going to be slower than that. He's just laid down a 1:17.8. He's very likely going to start just outside the top 10, maybe inside the top 10 here, depending on if any other drivers could have potentially went quicker as well. Garcia 1:17.35 his fast lap. He's already qualified with a 1:16.8 for race number 1. So he's in a good place here already. But yeah, Nick Jilks, a really good a move for them. It'll put him in the middle of the fight with an opportunity to potentially fight for the top 10. Tyke Durst actually has the fastest lap on the racetrack right now. How about that for Turn 3 Motorsports? A 1:17.239. Tyke Durst in the 33, the driver who had the issue in turn number 4 and 5 and looped it around. Currently back in 15th, just turned the fastest lap. 1:17.23, over a tenth, almost 2 tenths quicker than the leader on that last lap. Open racetrack for Tyke Durst, the driver of North Carolina, laying down a good lap here.
Max Garcia's most likely in cruise control mode right now.
Yeah, I think so.
A 17.3 on his last lap.
Well, 6 seconds out.
Although his best and his last are within a few hundredths of each other.
The cruise control is at full throttle, obviously. Yeah, 1:17.35 best, 1:17.37 as he backed it off 200ths of a second.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable.
He's in control. Yeah, no
Fantastic.
question.
Matt Clark has finally got by Logan Adams, so moved Matt Clark back up into the 12th spot. Logan Adams into 13th. Clark still 4 seconds behind Brady Golden. Whatever happened to Mac that dropped him from challenging Brady for 11th all the way back into the 13th or 14th spot was obviously cost him about 4 seconds. Last time by, in fact, he was 4 tenths off of Golden. Golden did a 1:17.8. Clark's fastest time a 1:17.6. Even if he was banging off his personal bests on the race here, Clark would not be able to close up on that 4-second gap. So Mac's going to end up with a 12th place finish, barring any post-race penalties. So tough one for him. He'll come back again to try to do it again this afternoon, try to have a big weekend, a big finish to the weekend, rather. There he is there, Matt Clark. Oh, that's actually one of the blue cars. That is one of the Turn 3 Motorsport cars. Very likely the Tullio being chased by Jacob Douglas as they pick it up on the lead cars again. There they are right there. Big lead of 6 seconds. Like I said, no real battles at all. Cooper Becklin being close to Manson, probably the closest fight we have right now. That is 9th and 10th. It's about 0.6 of a second. Or Brian Brianza, yeah, probably about 6 car lengths as they come across the line here. But otherwise, drivers circulating around. Don't make any mistakes. Hit your marks. Finish off these last couple laps. A physical test for sure. 4 laps remaining in a 30-lap contest. Still over 13 minutes remaining, so we'll get this one done early within the time window we have set up. If you're around the racetrack, remember we're back on the track again this afternoon. Wheel-to-wheel racing at 4:20, USF 2000, 5:15 for USF Pro 2000. Last race of the doubleheader for the drivers on the racetrack right now. Autograph session starting at 1:30, again in the middle paddock, right by the gift shop. We're set up there. We'll have our USF juniors there at 1:30, about an hour from now. 2 o'clock for USF 2000, 2:30 for USF Pro 2000.
All 3 of our top 3 set personal best. Fuel burns off the car, it gets lighter. The tires obviously are good, so they go quicker and quicker as this race wears on.
And guess who just turned the fast lap? Frankie Mossman, 2 laps down in the number 84. Very likely getting a little bit of a tow potentially after Garcia went by him. Nick Jilk coming back into pit lane, so they'll probably call it here for him. He's done his job. Nick Jilk's going faster, 1:17.7. That could help him definitely in his grid lineup for race number 2. Mossman, 1:17 flat. He did a 1:17.6. So yeah, they probably put tires on that machine, I think, too, as well.
Trouble for Michael Costello. He's dropping down the order here.
All right, not sure what happened with Michael Costello dropping down the order. John picked that up on live timing. Nothing that we've been alerted to at this point here, so maybe just a mechanical for him falling down. Race control not sending any information into us here. That's going to move Brady Golan into the top 10. Costello did come across the line, though, in 11th. So whatever happened, whether it was an off-track excursion or whatever it was, yeah, did a 1:28.3. John, so off at least 10 seconds off his pace, falling down into the 11th spot. Golan's going to move up into 10th as a result.
Yeah, he must have had a spin or an off course at some point. Either that or he's got a technical problem developing.
Yeah, Frankie Mossman most definitely using Max Garcia as the rabbit here. He went quicker or fast, but not quicker again. A 1:17.035. Garcia retakes fast lap to get that bonus point back into him, but Mossman's 1:17.0 most definitely going to help him out in qualifying, to the point where it may help him move up quite a bit. Elkin's fast lap, a 1:17.2. He's a 1:17.1 here now. That'll help him a little bit, but yeah, I think that move for Frankie Mossman very likely going to put him in the top 5 on the grid for race number 2.
Costello's back up to speed, so whatever it was a temporary issue, but he lost a bunch of spots.
Matt Clark, though, was a full second quicker than Costello on that last lap. He did a 1:17.2 as well. Golan did a 1:17.1, Costello a 1:17.2. Clark, these last couple laps, could he grab 11th from Costello? Full recovery drive for Matt Clark, trying to work his way forward after the contact on the opening circuit between he and Alessandro DiTullio. White flag will fly this time by for Max Garcia. Looking for win number 5 on the season, stretching that point lead out even more.
This battle between Manson, Becklin, and Golan is heating up as well.
Manson runs in 8th, Becklin 9th, Golan 10th.
We're on the final lap.
Manson's had a couple of good finishes, a 7th place finish, I believe his best finish for Manson. That was at Indianapolis. Hasn't had that one since, but an 8th place finish. Actually, he was 8th and 7th in Indianapolis, so a couple of top 10s there. This would be great to see Sebastian get back into the top 10. That's fight we're watching, indeed, coming across the line with the 2 of Becklin, Golan, Costello. Costello actually has lost a spot. Clark's been able to get by him. So Clark is now back up into 11th. Becklin, Manson, and Golan battling for 8th, 9th, and 10th. Clark is only 2 seconds back. If we see any challenge there, could have a good finish here. Final lap, though, we'll pick up our leader coming down through 5 in through turn number 6. Max Garcia, USF 2000 champion in 2024, looking to go back-to-back, following in the footsteps of guys like Kyle Kirkwood, who stormed their way through this USF Pro Championships, known in those days as the Road to Indy. Up out of Thunder Valley. It has been a perfect weekend so far. Fast lap for him, a 1:16.948 coming on lap 29. I don't know if they'll have to reset it here. Out of the final corner. 5 wins on the season, a handful for Max Garcia. He is victorious at Mid-Ohio. Race number 1 in USF Pro 2000. A 7-second margin of victory, or will it be more? 7.3 over Ariel Elkin, who comes home in second. Max Taylor crossed the line in third. DeTulio fourth. Douglas fifth. 6 is Montiero. Here comes Joey Brienza for a strong 7th place finish as well. Cooper Becklin in 8th. Manson 9th. 10th was Golan. Clark was coming on strong. Wow, 1.4 seconds quicker on the last lap between Golan and Clark. He needed one more circuit. He was only a half a second back at the line. Logan Adams, Carson Etter, 12th and 13th. Max Garcia, after 30 hard-fought laps, 7.3 seconds, 5 wins on the season. John, he has not finished outside the top 5 in 2025.
That's as impressive a run as I've seen in a while. That's a name you're going to want to remember, ladies and gentlemen.
Indeed, Max Garcia, Ariel Elkin, and Max Taylor will work their way into victory lane now. I'll head there. I'll hand it over to John Phippen once again for the full rundown of the unofficial results.
Garcia, Elkin, and Taylor, your top 3. Alessandro DeTulio, a well-earned 4th spot. Jacob Douglas hanging on for a 5th place finish. Nicholas Montiero in the 6th spot. Joey Brienza in 7th. Cooper Becklin comes home in 8th spot. Sebastian Manson dropping a spot on the last couple of laps, ends up 9th. Brady Golan, the last car in the top 10. After Golan, Matt Clark in a recovery drive up to 11th position. Logan Adams just behind him. Then Carson Etter, Michael Costello finishing 14th. Ty Durst in and out of the pits in 15th. Same with Frankie Mossman, Nick Jilks, George Garcia Arce unable to complete in the 10 car. But our leader already on his way into victory circle is the rest of the field just now coming down the pit lane. To give you some indication of just how big Max Garcia's lead was. As that's an impressive drive from this driver. And again, in his first season in USF Pro 2000, after clinching the championship in USF 2000 a year ago, he is going to be a force to be reckoned with moving forward. Out of Miami, Florida. Pabst Racing, sponsored by Advance Auto Parts, Bell, OMP. Getting his helmet off, big smile on his face as he gets the winner's hat. We talked about this being a hot day and a physical drive. He looks fresh as a daisy. Max Garcia. Clearly in command here as the wheel comes off and he comes out to celebrate for the cameras. Well done to Max. Fantastic drive, dominant drive here as he is extending his championship lead. Some misfortune for his closest pursuer, Matt Clark. Ariel Elkin most likely will move up into 2nd in the points championship. Max Garcia extending his lead now with a dominant win here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.
Thank you, John. Let's get at it here with the drivers in USF Pro 2000. Their first of 2 races on a doubleheader here at Mid-Ohio. A warm one out there for sure. Very similar to what we had a couple of weeks ago in Road America. All 3 of these drivers tell me they're pretty gassed after that race, 30 laps long. But let's start by bringing up the drivers who did such a great job today in the PFC Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio. Finishing in 3rd spot from VRD Racing, Max Taylor. Coming home in 2nd, a good start here to push very hard. The strong month of May for this driver. Another podium here for TJ Speed Motorsports runner-up today, Ariel Elkin. This championship looking more and more like it could lean this driver's way. What a consistent season it's been. Has not finished outside the top 5 yet this year. What an unbelievable run. 5th win on the season from Pabst Racing, Max Garcia. Max, let's talk about that one. A very warm one, as we know at Road America. You're in better shape. You were sick a little bit when we were there. How tough was it out there with the IndyCar rubber and the temperatures now in the mid-80s?
Yeah, it was pretty tough. Mainly just saving was the hardest part, but it was nice to push the last 10 laps in a row. It was getting a bit boring saving.
What about that first lap? Even after the restart, you jumped, I think, a second out on the restart. Do you work on that, or is that something you think is in you that you're able to extract a lot out of the tires on a restart?
It's something we work on for sure, and we knew that it was going to be important coming into this one for sure. So if we can just do that the next race, I think we'll be pretty good.
Can you get this car any better for this afternoon?
We'll see.
Boy, who do you want to thank?
Oh man, all of Paps Racing, Joe, Tom, Tonis, Augie, all my family who came out. It was just an awesome program, and can't wait to get to do it again.
5 wins on the season, get up on top for the 5th time this year. Max Garcia scoring the victory here. As I said, 5 wins on the season. Unbelievable run so far for this driver to Coconut Grove, Florida. Stellar season last year to get the championship in USF 2000, trying to go back-to-back titles here in this USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tire. That big scholarship check waiting at the end of the season. Could be Max, could be another driver, but right now Max is in a really good spot to potentially take that. Maybe even if things go well, clinch it in Toronto. We'll see how it plays out, but there are a lot of drivers still that don't want to make that happen. They want to put everything they have into trying to make sure they close it up and make that championship go all the way down to the final race of the doubleheader at Portland in the middle of August. But to get that done, they're going to have to get in front of this driver here this afternoon, because another performance like that could make it all but impossible for him to lose this championship. He is doing such a great job out front now, but you can't take away from the performances throughout the season of the 2 drivers that flank Max Garcia right now. Ariel Elkin and Max Taylor have just been stellar on the year. Max Taylor, of course, last year's USF Juniors champion, winner in both juniors and the USF 2000 program. Very talented driver. Month of May star Ariel Elkin was a front runner in USF Juniors last year, jumped up over USF 2000, won 2 races at Indianapolis in May, and then won the Freedom 90 as well for TJ Speed Motorsports. We'll bring in the bubbly right now for these drivers to celebrate. They'll move that car out of the way. Of course, the big celebration will come this afternoon, but we'll give these guys an opportunity to do it today, get them back to the paddock, get some water into them, and then, of course, the autograph session later on today as well. Guys, head on out there, grab that champagne. Let's get things underway. Grip it and rip it. Let's have some fun here for the podium for the drivers in the first of 2 races in USF Pro 2000. Max Garcia, his 5th win of the season. And again, great podium finishes for Ariel Elkin and Max Taylor. The championship extending for Garcia here. More racing to come at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. If you've been watching on the YouTube channel, thank you so much for tuning in. 2 more races later on this afternoon, a 5:15 start as we get focused on the remaining races. USF 2000 will run their 2nd race of the triple header. And of course, the USF Pro 2000s who just came off the racetrack will back up the double header here this afternoon. Final race, final track action of the day. Those of you joining in, thank you so much. We do appreciate it. Again, on behalf of Anderson Promotions, everybody from Mid-Ohio, and of course Continental Tires, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.